my name is Tatiana.
Hi, my name is Maya, and we are the directors of Untitled.
Hello, my name is Nicole.
And I'm Jake, and we are the directors of Everything Must Change.
Hi, my name is Raiza, and I'm the director and cast of Never Enough.
Hi, I'm Nicole Keskuti.
And I'm Kira Kofini.
And we're the directors of Notion.
Jien Matthew Scandri.
U jiena Matthew Xejri.
Għana d-direttori ta' Ġanna.
Hi, I'm Amy Borch. Hi, I'm Amy Govis.
Hi, I'm Giorgio Grigola.
And we are the directors of Retrospect.
Hi, I'm Luigi Plura.
Hi, I'm Luigi Bahajar. Hi, I'm Carl Mahnani. And we're the directors of SAC Soirée.
Hi, I'm Malik Hakokia.
Hi, my name is Michaela Colino.
Hi, I'm Amy Malia, and we are the directors of Roundwood.
So we always used to come to our soirée, and this inspired us to start our own, do our own item.
Our item, the music we chose and the dances are based on different emotions, the emotions that one feels when going through a journey.
And we decided to name it Untitled because in life you can't predict what will occur in every corner and every bend, and therefore we left it to the audience expectation.
Mela, l-item tagħna ġiet ispirata mis-sena l-oħra, minn Soirée tas-sena l-oħra, hekk kif isna rajna l-item tal-sketch li kellna u minn dejjem għedna li jisma' jridu nikbu item tagħna tas-sena ta' wara, tal-grupp tagħna u hekk.
Ħana ħabba li ħana żewġ minn nisma id-daħħu ħafna ħafna fis-SAC Soirée.
Imbagħad isna minn Ottubru bdejna naħsbu li nistgħu nagħmlu hekk u ġitna idea li nagħmlu sketch tad-daħħ. L-ispirazzjoni mejn tagħna kienet is-Soirée tas-sena l-oħra like ma rridux ġast inkunu isna dak kien involvu iktar ruħna u hekk u anke isna nagħtu l-parti tagħna lis-Soirée.
Actually, Amy came up
Exactly.
We were in the middle of Manush during summer, and Amy came up with the idea of Around the World. Yeah.
I didn't want an item that was just a mashup of songs. I wanted to have a message behind it, which it did.
Exactly.
And apart from that, we're showing songs from around the world, but at the same time we're portraying it in different dance genres. So, for example, Dirty Dance was more of a contemporary kind of dance, but then Don't Stop Believing was more like hip-hop kind of thing. So we had different countries, different music, and different dance styles.
Our inspiration for the item came from tying in with this year's theme of Journeying Together, where we decided to explore a different kind of journey, a journey in which we could explore and indulge ourselves in nostalgic elements. With the passage of time, there was a vast variety of changes. However, something that forever remained timeless was music, because it is a universal language.
There's a tradition where the boys do an item every year in the SAC Soirée, and as directors came together and we really wanted to take on this challenge to do the boys' item of this year. Our inspiration came from, in fact, last year we had some help with the name Sacrobats, and we just took that away from there.
We both wanted to do an item and direct one.
And then in summer I was thinking about what song I want to choose, and I listened to When the Party's Over by Billie Eilish, and I really liked how it sounded and I imagined a dance to it.
Nicole had the idea of the concept, and we just started working to develop a dance related to it, and
Exactly. So we very much worked on the choreo together, and it evolved into something which you saw in the podcast.
We started off as being two separate items. Out from our side, we were called Dynasty, and we were only 20 people, and our concept always revolved around feminism.
We basically wanted to show women empowerment through dance, and we managed to do that by choosing songs which are really just empowering and they focus on the power of women.
We started as a separate item as well, as Kaya said. We were femme, it was a singing and dancing item. And
we decided to choose songs from each decade.
It was a timeline, so it started from the 1950s and we went on to 2020s. And
had the same concept basically.
That had the exact same concept of women empowerment and feminism, because
those were the themes that spoke to us.
Exactly. And from the beginning we always thought that it was a current situation and that we had to promote it.
Done a soirée before, so we thought we'd bring
So this item was focused on the environment. We got our main inspiration from Greta Thunberg, which was part of the item itself, as we had her speech part of the item. We saw that nowadays the environment is degrading and we're not giving it the particular attention that it needs, and so we decided to create more awareness through this item.
We decided to work on this item together. It wasn't planned, but then we ended up together. The name obviously comes from our inspiration. It comes to our message to the audience. Obviously, everything must change.
I loved the song from the first time I heard it while watching the musical. I really like its subject because it speaks about ambition, and every performer needs ambition in order to achieve his or her goals.
So we started with literally just 11 people, and then we ended up with 73. It was quite exhausting, and also we were told by people that we wouldn't be able to make it because we're first years and that we're doing this all for nothing, but obviously that wasn't what happened.
Konna nafu li hemm sketch oħra li qed titpopetem allura isna ridna dejjem navvanzaw l-iskript tagħna, dejjem kollu tinbidel, inkollu ngħidu l-karatteri tagħna ishom x'għandhom jagħmlu biex jagħmlu aħjar u hekk.
Ħalli aħna tikun uħorġu l-aħjar.
U għana kienet l-ewwel darba tagħna li qed nagħmlu xi ħaġa hekk niktibna xi ħaġa hekk, jiġifieri imma naħseb li xorta tal-bidu bdejna tagħmlu isna kif nagħmluha, kif għandna nittakiljaw rehearsals u hekk. Ħadet ħafna ħin imma għalaqas kienet naqas stressful sal-audition biex naw jekk ngħaddux u hekk għax vera xtaqna li tasal.
In preparation for our audition, obviously, like, we had to prepare the dances, which proved to be a bit challenging, like, to say the least. Because we had many people.
Exactly. We had
like
many people.
We had like 65 people in the beginning, and we chose 3 songs basically to show them like the variety of what we would be providing in the item. And then we got chosen.
At the time, the item retrospect was still 2 items. It was Blast in the Past and Retrospect. Eventually, it merged under Amy Govis and Giorgio and Dan's direction, and then I stepped in, so maybe they can tell us more about the audition process.
Exactly, the concepts were 2 very different things. I mean, in Giorgio's case, I think you can speak and say that it was 2 songs.
Yes, basically, we had one song where we all performed from the band and the choir. It was just one song, not a medley, so it was quite a hit for us to like take a bunch of songs and then perform them all together.
But in my old item, it was almost 20 songs merged together, so we had to, after the merge, we had to find these 2 counterparts between us and manage like that.
I'd say the audition process was quite exciting, you know, building up to the audition, getting things ready for the audition and sorting out all the details. Doing the actual audition was a bit nerve-wracking because the judges or whatever, the teachers judging us, they were quite expressionless, and so we didn't know what to think. And then when the list of items chosen came out, we saw our name and we were obviously very happy.
Well, we taught the minute choreography which we wanted to present, and so we just worked on making sure it was the way we wanted to present it for like the teachers, I guess.
And we're quite perfectionists, so they had to stay after school quite a few times
to make sure it was like good.
We did a paper and we wrote pretty much so much information about
we just
the concept because it's really complicated,
exactly.
and it was so detailed. They were like, what?
So audition process, there were 2. There was theirs, Fem, and ours, Dynasty, and for us it was okay. At first, like, we were still getting acquainted with the first year, so like rehearsals used to be a bit awkward, but then once everyone like started to become comfortable with each other, they were quite fun, but like really stressful as well.
The audition process itself, like being in the audition, it was obviously like really stressful, but we felt like we did well and it ended up really good, so we're really happy.
For us, at first, obviously, as they said, we were like new to the first year, so it was quite weird at first. And then we had like the added stress of putting in the singers as well.
Yes, exactly.
So like we had to incorporate
as well. It was a bit like hectic.
And then during the audition, I think it was one of the most. I was so nervous. I didn't think I would be that nervous.
Especially like seeing the item
come together.
And seeing Conrad and Miss Annalise like stare at you.
But overall, it was like it came out really well, like clearly.
Basically, the audition process was very nerve-wracking. It was the first time that I myself and even Jake, I think, produced a whole piece that was entirely ours. Obviously, there are a lot of things that go through your minds, such as costumes, length of the piece, what are you going to tell them, is what I'm saying the right thing. It's a really nerve-wracking process.
Is it good enough?
That's I think that's the main...
Is it what they want? Is it...
So, but obviously we are here, so they did like it.
We did it.
I was really excited for the audition and I really wanted to take part in this year's soirée, being my last. And when I got to know that I made it through, I was really, really happy.
The rehearsal process was quite challenging for us. Being 2 people to control 73 people wasn't easy, making sure everyone knows the dance and we're coordinated, and it was quite a challenge to make sure that everyone comes to rehearsals as well.
And also to finish it in such a short time, and if we would be able to make it and for the people to like it as well.
Proċess ta' rehearsals tagħna kien ħabba li kellna 3 ċeni, issa ma konniex indaħlu kulħadd dejjem għal kull rehearsal konna nagħmlu aktar speċifika.
Eżatt, aha. Jekk ġifieri konna nagħmlu l-ewwel xena, tiġibu n-nies tal-ewwel xena. Anke ħabba tkun diffiċli ħabba li kollok nies li kollhom impenni differenti, tkun diffiċli biex jirnexxilek taqgħod il-kulħadd. Ma minn hawn il-film ġajna.
U l-iskola ħanċa minna bħala rehearsal u hekk għax ovvjament anke aħna stess ikollna ħafna tifrajiet wara l-iskola u hekk u ma staqniex li isna ta' fejn naslu nagħmlu fil-breaks, forsi fil-lessons u hekk li nistgħu nagħmluhom hekk biex isna ma nistessewx ħafna l-ħaġa. U għalkemm issa kellna partijiet mill-cast li ma kellhomx main role fil-play, issa xorta taw is-sagrifiċċju tagħhom huma stess biex ġew. Ħabba li kellna issa change of script u hekk, tipo ridna issa li xorta ndaħluhom, ridna li xorta għax acting xorta kellhom il-parti tagħhom huma like.
Kemm mhux kulħadd kellem, ma ħadx xorta kulħadd kellu part importanti.
So stressful, I'm not gonna lie, it was really stressful.
We were chasing people.
Most
of the time.
The problem was we had like many people.
Exactly.
It's really hard to cooperate, especially when you have the bigger dances. Like, for example, during a dance, we had 8 people, so it wasn't that hard. But dances like Don't Stop Believing or Shemsh, where we have the entire cast, it was really hard. But I mean, we managed to do it. Our cast cooperated with us at the end. But we managed and we made something beautiful of our item.
Working with the choir was very fun. They were all very collaborative. There were obstacles along the way because many were not in just one item, many had musical going on or other items. So you had to find a compromise, what are they going to attend for in breaks. There's only 1 hour of breaks in a day, and for the amount of work required, that's a very little time.
I remember having to run a lot with the instruments of the people from the band point of view. In the classrooms, you have to find the space where to perform, and obviously that's not always possible.
I mean, considering we're quite a big number of students, we're 27 boys, so it wasn't really an easy process, and considering the great number of items we had this year, 9 items, sharing the assembly hall, the rehearsal room, we had to adapt as much as possible. Our item, it was quite flexible, so we could use outside, we could use inside, it wasn't that difficult for us, but it was quite a nerve-wracking process as well.
We had a very good rehearsal process, I'd say.
I mean, we worked on the choreography first together.
Yep, we choreographed before the rehearsals, and then through rehearsals we thought a piece of the choreo that we had done together before, and then we just kept going over and over what we had.
To make sure it was like clean and good. We didn't like teach a bunch and then like not clean it.
And the rehearsals were also really fun, especially towards the end when we were like confident with how the dance looked. We did another choreo just besides
just for fun to like a really like completely different song.
Yeah, so we got quite close as a like a cast, you know.
And even we didn't like bring them in so many times once it was like clean and they were enjoying doing it, because we wanted to make sure they always enjoyed it. Not
We didn't want them
just
to get
forced,
bored
like,
of it, so.
So after we got chosen to merge, first we decided to teach the dance. So first, after we chose the songs that we were going to do, we changed a bit of the songs, and we decided to teach whatever songs we had, the dances and the singing. And they also decided to teach their dances and singing. And then we, us three, because we were the dancing directors, came together and choreographed the new dances that we chose. And
it was a bit of both. So we took some songs that were from our original item and some that were from theirs, and then we had I think 2 which were brand new, and we choreographed together. And but overall, the process of putting together rehearsals and everything wasn't that hard. It was relatively quite.
Basically, we also split up the singers and the dancers.
Exactly.
They'd have separate rehearsals, and I'd have separate rehearsals teaching the singing and harmonies and all that. And then after we kind of perfect from each side, we would kind of
put them together.
Exactly.
Exactly. One of the main problems we had was definitely attendance.
Especially in the Christmas holidays.
Exactly.
Because it was like a time where we really needed everyone.
Everyone
would be going abroad and
people getting sick, and having appointments and having private lessons.
Especially because we were a really big item, it was really difficult to have
get
everyone there, like singers and dancers.
And the amount of pre-ski we used to post.
Yep.
But all in all, it was really good. Towards the end,
scheduling was quite good.
Until considering that we were 2 separate items.
Exactly. Came together quite well.
Exactly. At first, we weren't too happy. We weren't too happy at first, but then we all went into it with open minds, and we saw that most of our ideas were similar.
And the choreographies came together quite well. We didn't know we had such similar styles of choreography, so
worked out really well.
Yeah.
The rehearsals were similar. They were a bit nerve-wracking because majorly I was in charge of creating the rehearsals, taking care of rehearsal space and times. It was a bit nerve-wracking considering that there are other items and I have to plan ahead so that every item has its own rehearsal. And we tried to create less clashes with other items because of people who would be in both items, for example. But overall, it was such an amazing experience. We created a really good bond through the rehearsals and they were really fun all the time.
I rehearsed every day at home and with my tutor. It was difficult to tap into the strong emotions that the song has, but every day I saw progress, and at the end, I think I managed to reach into the hearts of the audience.
We always knew each other from when we were young, so we had quite a good relationship with each other, so it wasn't quite hard to direct together.
Working with our cast was amazing. We became really close with each other. We made new friendships that we will for sure treasure throughout our life, and overall working with each other was something amazing.
لا بħala d-direttur li kellimien ma konċ naħdmu ġifieri.
Laqas kemm qabel u kemm wara kemm ħadni s'issa ta' ġifieri għax.
Le, iltqajna fl-ewwel sena ta' Luigi u minn hemmhekk isna close work u issa żviluppajna flimkien li anke nexxilna ntellaw bil-isketch isna nagħmluha flimkien u hekk.
Ħabba l-biberija tajba li għandna nexxilna naħdmu tajb ħafna flimkien ġifieri.
Bħala cast kellna cast ta' kif għedna 40 ruħ, jiġifieri u rajnijhom ħafna kooperattivi li ngħidulhom għal rehearsal ta' malaj, pereżempju, narawhom hemmhekk. Kom bħala commitment jiġifieri kien 100% m'għandniex ingejbu minnhom. U fejn gburi li apparti tal-line item li l-kastana isna tal-line type of ta' familja. Stage kemm saw girls, kemm first years, kemm second years, so isna bnejna dik il-bond bejniethom.
Exactly, we were friends before, so it was
It's like you're planning.
It was an easy thing, because because we were already friends.
Exact. If they had put us
A
then
random-
exactly just
a random group of people.
that would have been way harder, but it was okay. It was fun. We agree most of the time.
From my part, I really enjoyed working with both the band directors and the choir. because everyone was super cooperative, everyone was super into the item, and it was generally great.
Working as co-directors, I think, was a very fun experience, even though we never really had trouble with each other. We never fought, I think.
Apart from once, so we missed one rehearsal, and Luigi kicked us out from the.
It was an executive decision that must have been taken.
No, but you were out.
But yes, being best friends, I think it was very easy for us to work. Also, we made a decision very early on that anyone we cast is going to be, it's going to be our group of friends. So, as much as it was a professional item, we also wanted to have as much fun as possible. So having friends there, it made it very easy and very fun for us.
So we knew each other before we from Sacred Heart
when we were like young, because we were at the same school.
Yeah.
So.
And so we weren't so close, but through the item we
got
became
like really close.
Yeah. And we had like other activities after school which got us closer. So
we did a lot together this year.
And it worked to our benefit because it really worked well. So, and the cast, they're really talented.
We're like so close now. It's like
and they were like a really good group of friends, and we just have so much fun. They're amazing and they're really talented. So
basically, I never worked with Jake, so obviously it was our first time working together.
In this kind of environment.
Obviously. And it was my first time working with another, like I said, it was the first time choreographing the whole piece, it was the first time working with someone else, first time working with Jake. It was a nice experience. Obviously, we have two very different characters, so it was nice how like our minds gelled together to create this one piece that portrayed both of us and our cast. Working with the cast was amazing. They're all really cool people, and I enjoyed creating new bonds and obviously furthering bonds that I had already started.
When it comes to my experience with the other director, I realized that we both came from different backgrounds in dance and we have different characters, like a lot. But no matter how hard it was to fight over these contrasts, it was a super excellent experience and I would do it again in a heartbeat. When it comes to the cast, I think we created such a good friendship between us all because we valued our cast. It wasn't just our item, put it on for show and that's it, we're ready. We wanted to create a whole family between us, not just create a show.
Well, the only memory we could think of is that people losing their stuff just before the performance. Most of the last performance, people coming and telling us that they forgot their shirt or they couldn't find it, but we managed to DIY, and figure out something.
I mean, kena persona mill-kas tagħna stess li ġib il-klot sitt edition. U lex tipo kena ndawru kemm xejn l-iskript ħalli jkun jista' jitlob il-baħ u spiċċa ġiet aħjar.
U le għandha per eżempju ta' dawk il-panik ta' taħt l-istqaw ta' għandi stage waqt li qed jimmajkjaw fejn dik fejn il-oħra panik sieħ ġifieri.
Station.
Ma mbagħad isma' l-aħjar memorja naħseb għall-qas minn naħa tiegħi li forsi fl-ewwel xejna ma kontx qiegħed fuq il-park ma kont qiegħed fuq wara l-affarijiet li għamlu n-nies tal-cast u hekk.
Inti taqbeż kull darba li jidħlu n-nies.
Eżatt, tisma' n-nies tal-crew backstage illa naqbżu għax daħlu n-nies like hija tajjeb prosek miexja. But kien jidħol xi ħadd like jagħmel push-ups kif għax jipportartu imma le.
Jista' tant qed ixxegel il-braba.
Eżatt. Le, nefer dal-moment.
The show was great. It was really fun. Wow. I don't know, as in like the memories that we made, were like ones that we're gonna cherish forever. And an experience.
Yes, us crying in the middle of church was what we're gonna say.
It was an experience.
Seeing Joe Roscoe. Seeing David Julian. Joe Roscoe. David Julian.
We're smiling at us.
At me,
Okay.
Not many memories apart from the fact that it was quite stressful, especially since both Giorgio and I were also in musical in the orchestra.
But for me, I think the biggest memory I have is sharing the love for music with other people. As being a musician alone, so to speak, it's nice, but when you play with other people, it's an experience. You don't go through often, I think. And I'm glad I put that medium out for people who love music to be appreciated by others, so to speak.
The memory I kept, I hope it's not a memory, it's the friends I made. And, well, not friends, they became family now.
I'd say the most prominent memory would be on the last day when we did the item, and at the end of the item on the stage, we realized that one of our cast members didn't come on stage because he was napping and our fellow friend Paco forgot to wake him up.
And we were stuck in the material on one of the shows.
And we were like sewing the tops till like literally 2 minutes before the performance because
So that's great.
And
I was gonna die when I slipped. I'm like,
oh yes.
Was that noticeable? But yeah, overall it was a very, very good show, and everyone loved it.
There was one time where a singer, like on the day of soirée, one of the shows, she had to leave, so we had to like
She had to fill in.
a lot of. So it was like
We
10
had a
minutes
singer
before the
missing
show.
for
the actual show.
Like actually left 5 minutes before we
I
went
don't
on
think
stage.
she told us she was leaving. She just up and left. No, but we arranged it. But
Then, yes. And it
it's
came out
just
well as well, so
entirely-
so we made it work.
Like, that was the most unbelievable number we had.
I know it. Like everything else went. Like they were our 4 best
was quite, yeah.
dances and singing.
It was
Quite.
So one of my favorite memories and during the 4 days of the show and during production week and during our dress rehearsals, basically we had a really tight costume. So we had to put it up till here so that our makeup doesn't smudge. And then we had just had to spend the whole day with it just around our neck so that we don't get like sweat patches. And I don't know, it was just really funny. So you see us all on our hoodies with our polo necks. And
It's a new experience, a strange one, but it was fulfilling to say the least. I had no problems like these at least. Then we had another memory when it came to before going up to the stage to perform. Basically, we used to go into a huddle. We put our we as the directors, we motivate them for the show to put on a great show. We had no doubt that they would do it because we're proud of our cast. And basically, we would put our hands all in the middle and we would shout 1, 2, 3 for sure. Because we had one of our cast members really like to say this phrase for sure. So we incorporated it as part of our item and part of the motivation. The final memory then is it's
bittersweet.
Bittersweet, the perfect word, because it was at the end, the last night. Once we went off the stage, the last thing we heard before we went off was a person shouted "Well done," and everyone was clapping. Then we all went down under stage. We were all in a huddle crying because it was such an amazing experience, and we weren't ready to give it up. We weren't ready to stop. We wanted to do it
again and again and again.
Again and again.
One memory that I have is of production week. During one of the rehearsals, the cast lit their mobile torches and created such a magical and lovely atmosphere. And at that point, I realized the support that everyone is giving to each other, and I really appreciated it.